bucket, count it, and one. Some Shea sizzle here on the fourth. The lead is 13.
Wasn't always pretty for SGA and OKC, but they get it done in Game 1. Welcome to Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T and Querim, alongside Brendan Haywood and Steve Smith. We've got complete post-game coverage coming up here. We're going to hear from the players and coaches at the podium. We will take you there live when they do get there. But first, I mean, that first half, you see both teams real tight. But in the second half, OKC, they completely changed the game.
Yeah, and offensively, they really got things going, but what stood out to me is what they've been all year long, and why I think they will eventually be champions this year, is because their team defense is elite. They're one of those teams that can go out there, figure out a way how to shut you down. When the offense isn't going, when shots aren't falling, they can depend on their defense. They have active hands. They have multiple bodies that can get out in passing lanes, and they have size. I thought that size was huge because when you look at what Minnesota has done throughout the first 2 rounds of these playoffs, anytime Minnesota wanted to, they could run to the front of the rim on teams like the Lakers. They had no size. Jackson Hayes wasn't being played in that series. Against the Golden State Warriors, they could run right to the front of the rim anytime they wanted to. Against this OKC team, Chet Holmgren was in there making a difference. Hartenstein was in there using his body. You saw a couple plays where Julius Randle was trying to go through him and just there was nowhere to go. This is a different level of defense, and Minnesota found that out tonight firsthand.
13 steals, by the way, for OKC in this game.
It is. What Brendan is talking about, the steals, the block shots, the active hands, but I think we both agree their closeouts was unreal. To be able to close out and also take away shots, not just contest. We've always talked about that's a good contest. They were closing out with, so the Minnesota Timberwolves wasn't even getting a chance to get a shot attempt. What I love is they finish defensive plays. Most championship teams, you talk about the first 10 seconds in the shot clock, but the last 4 seconds, they finished the defensive assignment all the way through where they're getting stops, rebounds, and I think they got 2 24-second shot clocks in this game. That team defense is next level.
Yeah, it is impressive. OKC 114-88 winners. Let's hear from Chris Finch, who is at the podium.
Yeah, I think we didn't have a lot of patience in the second half, and then our rushed offense, didn't get a bunch of quality looks, and then it affected our defense, honestly. We got some fouls early, which I thought made us a bit softer than we needed to be. And then, it was just – then when we did get good looks, they didn't go down. So
you mentioned the defense became a little softer. Was that the main issue in your eyes on that end of the floor in the second?
Yeah, I think it was, like I said, our offense affected our defense, and that can't happen. And so.
Chris, the amount of good looks it seemed like you had from three. I mean, how do you feel just about?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of good shots out there. I think we got to clean things up a little bit. Sometimes the passes were late. Sometimes we weren't quite shot ready. Sometimes we need to turn them into other plays. But I did think that we got a number of really good looks. And we really couldn't connect when the game was kind of turning against us. So.
And Julius was great in the first half, and then did they just really kind of load up on him in the second half?
I didn't see necessarily anything different. That's on me. I got to get him the ball. I got to get him more involved to start that second half. So,
Coach, it seemed like coming in this game again, you guys have really put a lot of pressure on the rim in the first 2 series, and then kind of in game 1 of this, when you guys only had 20 points in the paint. What would you say, just from your vantage point, was the biggest thing that kind of hindered from you guys being able to do that?
Well, they got 5 guys in the paint at any given time, so,
Chris, the bench, specifically Dante and Nas, didn't have a great series before. Is it just a matter of them being cold tonight, or what do you see there?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Like I said, we had some good looks. I thought we had some rushed looks too, and then but we got to do a better job of repeating the things that we know we can find out there, and getting a better rhythm, and those shots will go in. So,
Chris and Jaden, he was pretty good when he did get the shots. Does he need to get a little bit more involved in what's going on?
Yeah, I thought he turned down a bunch of looks at times in the second half. I thought he turned down some looks in the second half. So, but yeah, 5 shots is probably not enough for him.
Chris, Rudy gets the 2 fouls in the first minute of the game comes out. How much of his performance tonight do you think was about him maybe getting out of rhythm with that versus what he could do more of to give you more production?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about, obviously 2 fouls, a minute and 38 seconds or whatever it was into the game. I thought the second one was a little, unforgiving. I thought it was certainly. But yeah, I mean, we weathered that storm pretty well. I just kind of wanted to go with a more small, skilled lineup. When we got down to see if I could change the complexion of the game. Rudy was a -2. He was actually one of our better plus-minus guys. So, it's nothing Rudy did or didn't do tonight. It was just got some early foul trouble, and then I tried to do something else. So.
Finchie, forgive me if I missed this in the beginning, but Ant's ankle, was that bothering him? Did you talk to him about it? I know he came back in, and then was it 4 fouls?
He said it was a bit sore at halftime, but he said he would be fine. So yeah. No, we didn't talk about it yet. So.
Coach, could you sense some of the frustrations that some of your players had with some of the calls that Shea was able to draw?
Yeah, there was a lot of frustration out there, but we talked about that before the series started. We have to be able to kind of put that aside and get on with the next play mentality. So,
Chris, that was the fewest 3-pointers the Thunder's attempted in a game this season. Mm-hmm. How did you defend them that sort of led to that, or is that something you were trying to do?
I mean, I don't know. I think they were getting downhill, so they weren't really looking to kick out a whole lot. So I'm not sure how much it was on us. So.
Talked about maybe making some plays out of some of those kickouts. You talked about maybe making some extra plays out of those kickouts. The 51 threes, a lot were good looks, but I mean, would you like to see a little bit more variance within the offense?
Yeah,
there?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought for the most part, we got some good looks, but I thought some were rushed, as we talked about, and some were kind of, guys when they're struggling to shoot, sometimes they want to just see one go in, and we definitely need to. Find a rhythm in this series. Every series is a little bit different, how people guard you and whatnot. And, we can't – I thought we came out and tried to play the same way we always did, and that wasn't going to work tonight. So we got to figure out kind of a different rhythm to play. So.
Chris, you had a tough shooting night in Game 1 against the Warriors, but you guys were able to bounce back really well in that series. What do you draw from that, if anything, in this series right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's Game 1. They won at home. Congrats to them. They played really well. There's another game in 2 days. So,
what would you have liked to see more of? You talked about how to find different ways to play offensively. Like, what in your mind are things that you can do offensively?
We got to pick up our decision making. We definitely got to play with more force. We got to play with more, pass combinations, and we got to go somewhere a little bit quicker. So,
does a packed paint sometimes cause some indecision? I guess when you look at what's in front of you.
I think it was a little bit more a lot of useless ball screens for me. It was less about the packed paint. We kind of created our own congestion at the top of the floor unnecessarily. So that's something we need to look at. So.
Any other questions? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so a lot of.
Chào các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm cỏ.
Trên cái thỏng qua để xem nó có cảnh báo gì không, hay là xem nó có bị chặn cho riêng tư.
Nhưng mà hôm qua mà anh lại nên quyết không báo anh biết rồi.
Bữa em lại chị mình bảo này biết rồi.
Chị Lan bảo á? Chị Lan biết á?
Thế ông ta không biết mình làm gì dưới lên đây là cái gì? Thử à?
Đây mà đăng thế là cả xã hội, cả cái làng này biết đến nơi đấy. Anh mấy đứa trẻ cũng
nhưng mà nói thật là Thành nó khô. Giấu là cái gì cơ?
Không, em mà không nói thì kiểu gì so chị Lan anh biết, tại vì anh lại hỏi anh lại.
Đầu ngõ biết được kia. Đúng ngõ biết được kia.
Ai?
Mẹ.
Ôi chị giờ. Ô đầu ngõ là ai? kia, nếu mà nghi kia nhưng mà cuối ngõ là ai?
Cuối ngõ thì chắc hàng xóm đầu chả bao giờ được cái lạng sân lại đâu, không dỡ.
Nhất là lại còn suốt ngày qua lại ở đây nữa. Thằng này về phải chia tay.
Nếu anh kia nói nhầm là cuối ngõ, anh kia mà nói giữa ngõ nghe còn được.
Thảo nào hôm trước nó đã bảo với ta là cái ngõ này sắp biết hết rồi cơ mà, nhưng mà nó không tin.
Đấy thì đã rồi, nhưng mấy cái đấy chạy anh bao nhiêu cái đã 5k đấy.
Bao nhiêu 30 à?
Làm gì
cái quan hệ giận đến nốt quen hơn cả nàng.
Ai?
Chị bạn như này.
Mà chị Lan đăng đâu?
Không đăng nhưng mà biết hiểu chưa?
Đó, chia tay thôi. Hôm qua chia chân rồi, hôm nay chắc chắn phải chia tay.
Anh kia tay này này. Anh kia nè. Để nó cứ kiếm.
Nghĩ là gì?
Đúng rồi, đoạn đấy nó phải như thế. Để đang nóng nực.
Đây là anh con này xin.
Chịu đây.
Anh này con này xin không thì.
Ngày trước thì yêu đầu gõ, giờ yêu cuối ngõ.
Khỏe.
Rốt với trưởng.
Đấy anh xin gì mà đúng không?
Tính gì?
Cái gì mà đô này, độc này.
Đây xin đúng không?
Ừ.
Mặt zip và kia đừng kết không?
Nhìn nào. Hỏi đi anh ý này. Ông trời sinh em không phải tự đánh giá như